this point, the Eagle has landed, taken off, joined AARP, and applied for Social Security benefits.
I don't think anything would be better in this format than a giant penis that rises up when you open it and it says, "Happy birthday, dickhead."
My dearest love, 16 years of marriage, and I have to say, your mother is still a bitch.
And after the enormity of his success, he was able to stop sending potential movie scripts to L. Ron Hubbard. My lord, the hyperbolic paraboloid doesn't even occur in nature. Spotted dick imperialism. I don't know, do I? That's actual dialogue.
This is the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast.
Oh, it's been a rough couple of weeks for Baltimore. Of course, everybody knows about the Key Bridge disaster, but I had one of those aluminum hat wearing patients come in and say, yeah, the world's definitely coming to an end because we have a sinkhole now around Lake Montebello. You aren't even allowed to jog around.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can't right now.
We used to run around that lake when I was a boy.
That was part of the Baltimore Marathon course. It's kind of near the end.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I was like, and now strong winds. Oh no, it could just be spring.
Well,
yeah.
Let's lighten things up a little bit. I did a lot of research on Pringles this week.
Really?
Yes. You'll be surprised. We're going to talk about Pringles for almost the entire show.
And Lay's stacks.
And we are not even being sponsored by them. No. So, did you know that the Pringles can was developed before the actual chip? As far back as the 50s, people were unhappy with the standard potato chip bag because of all the air in it and that it would pop and whatever else.
And I kind of always hated when you're bringing all the groceries home in the trunk and, you take a turn a little too fast and the heavy bottle of laundry detergent shifts and then you end up with smashed chips and flat bread.
A bag full of dust. Yeah.
At that point, you can just, use it to put on chicken.
Like a garnish. Yeah, exactly.
Coat chicken with it, which was also good, but not what you were going for. Plus the whole problem of delivering chips at high altitude in Denver. If you're not aware, they can just go, pow!
And the truck drivers have to take alternate routes because of the height.
Yeah. So Procter & Gamble had a team of crack scientists on it. The design of the Pringle is actually called a hyperbolic paraboloid, which kind of sounds like a terminal disease.
Dennis passed away. What? He was so young. Hyperbolic paraboloid.
That'll get you every time.
Poor bastard. Anyway,
the chemist that designed the chip and the can back in the 50s was brilliant, except for one thing. He couldn't make them edible. Look, they're so fresh and none of them are broken. Too bad they taste like sawdust.
Yeah.
The saddle shape of the chip was developed by a chemist named Frederick Bauer. To his chagrin, he did not foresee people using two chips to make duck lips and waddle about and quack, 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 and other such important activities.
Before we forget, this week's sponsor is Narcoleptic Dentist Seltzer, which explains why he put the crown on my kneecap.
Well, too much laughing gas.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, the guy that designed the chips, or the can, he also had a freeze-dried ice cream product that he tried to market called Cold Snap. Didn't catch on. Apparently, people like the cream part of the ice cream. This was freeze-dried. But it was a big hit with the nostalgic astronaut market. But sadly, that's only about 13 people in the world, so it wasn't exactly profitable.
About 0.3% of the population, if even.
Pretty slim vertical there. Yeah.
Not good at licking the freeze-dried ice cream. Doesn't work very well.
No. It wasn't until the late 60s that they actually came up with something that could market. The guy that designed the machine that cooked Pringles was actually a science fiction writer. And after the enormity of his success, he was able to stop sending potential movie scripts to L. Ron Hubbard. They were originally marketed as Pringles Newfangled Potato Chips. Actually, Syntha chips would have been more of a better name because only 42% of what constitute a Pringle is made up of potato. The other more than half is MSG, barley flour, disodium guanylate, sodium caseinate, and a bunch of other Oppenheimer adjacent chemicals.
Yeah, give me kettle chips any day of the week.
Mm.
But apparently, the other salty snack people weren't as enthused by their clever use of technology. They called bullshit, alleging you can't call it a potato chip if more than half of it is chemicals and kind of packed in a tennis ball can. That's like a banana split made out of bicycle tire. Anyway, they eventually changed the name to Crisps, but they still weren't out of the woods. The taxes and duties on crisps, for some reason, in the UK were over 17%. So they argued in the High Court with powdered wigs and fancy robes and all that.
My lord, the hyperbolic paraboloid doesn't even occur in nature. Spotted dick imperialism. I don't know, do I? That's actual dialogue. Anyway, eventually Procter and Gamble had to up the ante and pay for the taxes. The international market for Pringles, if you go on the website, it's pretty bizarre flavors like garlic seafood, French consomme, sausage, and there's one in Japan that they market that's simply called cat, which I found deeply disturbing. But it seems to have paid off. Kellogg's acquired Pringles back in May of 2012. Guess what the price tag was for Pringles? Over $2.5 billion. They must have a 100-acre MSG farm over there. Okay, shall we talk about the feature interview?
Our feature interview this week is with JJ, Dan, and Leisl from the UK-based hard goth band Lesbian Bed Death. This one you are not going to want to miss, as we cover everything from the origin of their killer moniker to the curious story of how JJ came to join the band to the making of their amazing videos. There's even a Glenn Danzig geek out, so stay tuned for that.
Okay, let's play a song. This is from the very first Lesbian Bed Death album, which was called I Use My Powers for Evil, and the song is Goth Girls Are Easy.
I'd love to hear JJ's take on this one, too.
Yeah.
Valentine's Day on Halloween. Goth girls are easy. Dark lips, big tits. Goth girls are easy. Rock boots, cat suit. Goth girls are easy.
Okay, let's talk about Patreon. The site is patreon.com/Snaggletooth Podcast. For $6.66 a month, you get an absolutely criminal amount of Mark and Stace. That is not available anywhere else.
We have music reviews that aren't on any of our shows. We have cooking tips.
Yes.
I may just brew up something this week, as well as I got to get back out there in the garden. It is a disaster right now. But we just recently redid our taxes. You know, keeping the show plugging along isn't cheap between computers and cameras and microphones
acquisition.
and
Merch,
vinyl acquisitions, going to shows. So your contributions really do help us putting out new episodes every week.
So a couple things I'm just going to tease now. I did not know this, but ZZ Top made an album with Rick Rubin about 6-7 years ago. So I will be reviewing that. The combination of ZZ Top and Rick Rubin is an interesting one. I also finally got a hardcover. Well, I actually finally got a physical copy of Brian Slagel's book, For the Sake of Heaviness, which is all about the rise of Metal Blade Records. Lots of tasty stuff in there. I'll be reviewing that as well. So come on over, say hi. Don't forget to follow this channel. Give us a like over on Instagram. Say hi on Facebook.
We also put a lot of stuff up on Instagram, especially when we go to a show. We're always putting up live feeds of what show we go to, so you can get a little taste of it if, say, that show isn't coming around you, or maybe it is and you want a preview. So definitely check us out, and we'll keep good stuff coming for you.
Exactly. So I've noticed that it seems like you can get a greeting card that says just about anything these days, you know, for a very special grandniece on Be Kind to Firefighters Day.
Thinking of you on the eve of this lunar eclipse. Should have the little glasses inside, maybe to tear out. How about a little something to help brighten crush a can day? I guess cards are a necessary evil. If you want to give your niece $20 for her birthday, it's better than wrapping the money up in a dirty sock or, Kleenex.
Fish skin.
The earliest greeting cards go all the way back to the 1400s. A French nobleman, Charles, Duke of Orleans, wrote out a message to his wife in calligraphy. My dearest love, 16 years of marriage, and I have to say, your mother is still a bitch.
I guess some things never change. Yeah, then he had to go find a carrier pigeon to deliver it.
Wonder how much poop they had per on messages back then.
Yeah, I can imagine.
There are so many different types of greeting cards now. Photo cards, reusable cards. There are cards where lifelike paper butterflies are jetted out to flit about for a few seconds, giving the bug-opposed unwary opener a coronary jolt that may result in delight or cause a heart-related medical
I think
incident.
more of the latter, probably.
Yeah, they're pretty scary. You ever watch the reaction videos?
Yes.
People freak the frick out. They don't expect things to fly out of their
Out of the
car.
card, yeah. Whoever invented the musical cards, whoever invented those things was sadistic fuck. I'll tell you that. I wouldn't enjoy this card as much if it wasn't playing Baby Shark on an endless loop.
I got one of those once, and every time it accidentally fell open, I was like, "Close it, close it, close it! I can't deal
Pretty
with
much. Yeah.
it." It's true though.
You have pop-up cards, apparently, like the old pop-up books we used to read when we were young. I don't think anything would be better in this format than a giant penis that rises up when you open it and it says, "Happy birthday, dickhead." Sending those e-cards seems kind of pointless to me. Like I was too cheap to spend the $3, but here's a picture of a butterfly and happy birthday with your name spelled wrong.
I like the ones that open up, like they actually have an envelope that flips over and opens itself up, as if you're actually opening mail. I actually used to subscribe to Blue Mountain, which was an e-card service.
Okay.
For $5 a month, you could fill up unlimited emails with elevator music and birdies flying through flowers and birthday hats. Maybe it was one of those party horns.
Mm-hmm.
I remember this girl I used to know in college. She didn't understand the sorry for your loss card. She broke up with her boyfriend and then got him one of those cards for the loss of her.
That's great. So she dumped him and then was like, "Sorry for your loss."
Sorry for your
Not
loss
enough
of
to
me.
take you back. Like, oh, that's great.
Yeah, sorry for your loss of me. Hope you get over it. Get over me.
That's great.
Me over. How many ways can you write? You are a cute little boy. I nearly broke a pelvic bone giving birth to. Happy birthday. And get a job, you
Now
bum.
you're talking here. So let's play a song.
This is a great lesbian bed death, one of my favorites. Satanic suicide sex cult.
Okay, let's talk about Home Chef.
So we just enjoyed a lovely Home Chef meal. It was delivered right to our door last night. They bring right to your door, FedEx, all the ingredients you need. Each meal is bagged up, and then your meats are separate. We just had a gorgeous bacon blackjack beef burger. So the secret to this one was they actually gave you blackened season to mix in the burger, pepper jack cheese, and then they always do kind of something interesting. They had me fry up some onion and little bacon bits and put them into cream cheese and top the whole burger with this. I also added a little jalapeno. They gave you some potatoes to cut up and make into fries. I did use my air fryer, but they have oven directions as well.
It was indescribably delicious.
Step-by-step picture directions. And they even have on the front. They called this intermediate. I don't know if I'd actually call this
It's a
intermediate.
boyga. It's a boyga.
It's a burger. They gave you the buns, everything you would need. Later this week, we are going to be enjoying and cooking a Japanese chimichurri sirloin with smoky cauliflower and salsa matcha. Again, that one that says is intermediate as well. That one actually.
Dick Van
sounds
Dyke
harder.
invented that. Few people know that.
Also, we were very bacon heavy this week. It's a bacon and cheddar jack beef meatloaf.
There's too much bacon, said no one ever.
So meat and veg, very healthy. They let you know right when you're ordering it if it's gluten sensitive, if it's keto friendly. You can also, if you don't like the whole cooking part of things, I do, not everyone does. I know sometimes I'm really busy and I go for the express meals. The express meals, a lot of the chopping and stuff is done for you. You just need to mix. They even have oven ready meals. You just pop them in dinner.
I still think their motto should be more chopping, less shopping. I think that would be great.
Yeah, you
You
never
can have that one for free, home show.
you can never have to worry about, like, I usually do starting a recipe and then realizing you don't have eggs because everything you need is included.
Because someone ate them all. Anyway,
So use our link. It will save you off your first order. You can peruse their menu. You can make changes. You can do substitutions. They even have vegan meals. So get on over, have your meals delivered to your door. Don't worry about the grocery store or what is on this week's menu.
okay.
Oh.
It is time for Collectorbation. And this week we're going to go to the new wave of British heavy metal.
We found it.
Yeah, so I couldn't find this for a while. I'm just stuck to the Shags, actually. So, which is, I wouldn't wish that on anybody. So, Saxon's 1982 album is called The Eagle Has Landed. Take it away.
Saxon had come a long way since their rickety 1979 debut with cuts like Frozen Rainbow and Still Fit the
I
Boogie.
actually really like that record.
Sounds like a Richard Simmons
It's weird.
song, though.
The
Still
first,
Fit
the first Saxon and the first Samson are both weird, but I like them.
And after stringing together 3 very strong studio releases, decided on a document of their explosive live show. The Eagle Has Landed is a live record that can rest comfortably beside classics like Motorhead's No Sleep Till Hammersmith and Judas Priest Unleashed in the East, offering prime cuts of the band's strongest early material delivered to rabid crowds across Europe during their 1981 tour. It is the debut of drummer Nigel Glockler, replacing Pete Gill, who had sustained a hand injury. He proves to be a spunky addition on this album, pounding and kicking away with a gusto that lights fire on these already red-hot metal nuggets. Vocalist Biff Byford's croons are simultaneously sonorous and smooth, and the guitar tandem of Paul Quinn and Graham Oliver deliver cracking power chords and lyrical solos in 10 cuts of glorious biker metal.
Hey, you're not getting tired, are you? Byford asks the crowd after a thunderous version of Strong Arm of the Law. As the crowd roars back to him, he says, I don't know, do I? No, I'm just kidding. He actually says, it's a good bleeding job, as the 5-piece tear into the high-energy chugger heavy metal thunder. It's an album packed with hot spots, like the red-hot riffing that kicks off Princess of the Night. I defy you to keep your head still when that kick drum comes in. It's great. Anyway, here it is, Princess of the Night live. Okay, continuing on with Saxon.
The speedball Fire in the Sky may be the disc's high point, built on Glockler's aggro snare pops and glorious harmonies from Quinn and Oliver. The very AC/DC-like Wheels of Steel is transformed into an 8+ minute jam, Byford engaging the crowd in an extensive sing-along of the chorus. Otherwise, it's a very satisfying set of quick strike performances in the 3 to 4 minute range. This one could have easily been a 2 LP live set. In fact, the 2011 reissue added in a second disc of bonus tracks from Hammersmith Odeon circa 81-82. But at any rate, stands as a snapshot of a powerful band that sounded like they were on the way to follow the Leopards and the Maidens of the world to superstardom. While they never quite achieved that level of success, a Mutt Lang or Merton Birch certainly could have helped with those early records. The good news is the band soldiered on, continuing to drop their signature bombastic hard rock for over 4 decades. At this point, the Eagle has landed, taken off, joined AARP, and applied for Social Security benefits. What remains is a colorful and interesting discography from one of rock's true iron horses, Saxon.
This is Fire in the Sky. Okay, let's introduce the interview.
This is our interview with Lesbian Bed Death, an interview that we were hot to get. Love their new album. We were kind of late to the party, but I really think this particular lineup is really clicking. I'd love to hear their takes on some of the earlier stuff. Great stuff. And if Dan could let me know when they get small shirts back in, I'll be right over there to order one. They're kind of smalls right now. So shoot me an email and I'll jump right on it before they sell out again.
Said, when are you going to get them? And he said, I don't know, do I?
So like we were saying, you guys came up during the Morbid Sane interview because you guys were in the same PR contest. So
Yeah.
he actually brought you up in the interview. We're like, oh, that's so weird.
So what's some of the weirdest reactions you've had to your band name? I mean, I'm sure you've got some stories.
I think the most common one we get is like people asking us, are you a lesbian or are you a bed death? Like that seems to be the most common one that I've gotten so far. It's like, which are you? Usually people ask if Dan is a lesbian, which is, always gets a cackle out of me.
Well, you never know.
Yeah.
Depends how much I've had to drink, I guess. But we do get a lot of the creepy old guys coming up to women in the band going, "Oh, you lesbian then?" It's like, yeah, great.
Yeah,
Thanks.
exactly.
We do get a lot of people assuming we're a death metal band because we've got the word death in the band. And I think years ago, when we started, we had a lot of problems because the band name, where certain shops wouldn't stock us and things like that. Because it was seen as controversial. Where obviously the world's changed a lot more in the last sort of couple of decades, and it's not a big deal anymore. There was certainly an unintentional shock element back in the day.
Yeah,
it's not Cannibal Corpse or anything, you know what I mean?
We're all like, we've heard it all now. We're all like hardened, autopsy people when it comes to hearing band names. Like I remember I was like, they will never be popular with a name like Metallica. That's crazy. Yeah, I remember thinking that. Now you could probably have the F word in the title and you'd be fine. I don't know.
Yeah.
You can get away with a lot more now, I think. Yeah.
Get away with a lot more. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We do.
So hold on, we're having technical difficulties now, but he's just grabbing a power cord. But like with like Nunslaughter, we were talking with him, and this interviewer on like a print interview had them as Nunslinger. I was like, is that like Nunslaughter light? Like, just slinger?
Nunslinger.
Or they would refuse to put the name on the marquee. They would have non-slaughter instead of none or something. You haven't ever had problems like that where they were like, no, we're just gonna go.
We usually get like, people think lesbian bed death. Like a lot of people are like, shouldn't it be the other way around, like bed death? Like deathbed. Yeah, people are like, shouldn't it be deathbed and not bed death? And it's like, no. Shut up.
Yeah, shut up.
Shut up.
We've had that in the past where like, we'd have concert tickets printed wrong and things like that, which is a bit annoying. We think people got used to the band name now after so many years. Long time.
Oh yeah, well I'm sure after a while it gets old, but no, it definitely grabs your attention, and it certainly got ours, and we were just sad we had slept so long on everything.
Yeah.
But so at the beginning, Dan, you thought this was going to be like a one and done, kind of just a fun project. At what point did you kind of learn, this is going to be a thing?
In all honesty, it became a thing because my regular band at the time was starting to fizzle out. We put a lot of work in, and we hadn't really got anywhere. And then when we did the Lesbian Bed Death album, we had so much interest in it, and it was just nice to actually to get something back, to actually start selling some CDs and have that bit of energy back, people actually interested in when we were going to tour, and I feed off that energy a bit. And I was kind of sick of like walking through quicksand, if you like, trying to flog a dead horse with my other band. But then it kind of it had legs basically, and there's a demand for Lesbian Bed Death. I mean, initially we left it, but that's what I think it's about 4 years between the first album and the second album, and it's for that reason. One band was dying off a little bit, you know,
Impression.
like an old cat. And
Yeah, exactly. What's your musical background,
and
Daisy?
I've got this
Well,
young, new, interesting cast that everyone wants to pat. So,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, all the attention went on the new one.
I wanted to ask about your musical backgrounds. I mean, I start with Dan, I guess. Did you
Me?
have any formal
Okay.
training or?
No, not really. I learned to play Smoke on the Water on one string. And
That's how we all
went
start.
from there.
Yeah.
yes.
So no, I my first proper band was like a hardcore metal band called Razorwire that did a couple of albums, and that was my entire life revolved around that band throughout my 20s pretty much, and it just died a death as these things always do, but we did lots of gigs, lots of touring, went overseas and everything like that. So by the time I came to start this band, I had quite a lot of experience, not just in terms of playing, but in terms of like effectively managing a band. I'd started my own label at that point as well. We're very much a DIY kind of hands-on band, so everything I learned got put into Lesbian Bed Death basically.
So for JJ, did you have any training or did you just pick it up? Your voice is so good.
Oh no, oh my god, you'll like make me cry. um, I know it's kind of cliche to say, but it's one of those things where, like, my mum always tells me this. It's like she says it's almost like you were always supposed to do this because, like, even when I was like a baby and like a toddler and stuff, like I was always trying to like basically upstage everyone in a room, like trying to be like, I'm here kind of thing, and singing and dancing. I've always been involved in stuff like school choirs and the musical theatre and drama groups, school plays. I've always just found like a home on a stage kind of thing. The only like proper, I guess, training that I've done is when I was in high school. I did like a grade 6 rock vocal exam kind of thing, which is weird because it was a rock vocal exam, but I did Skyfall by Adele, and that's not very rock if you ask me. um, you know, so not really had like any training, like any singing lessons or anything. It's just I've always loved singing and I've always done it and I always will do it, and so that's basically
That's
it.
great.
Yeah.
That's great.
And for Leisl, you really bring the drama with that bass. Someone has a thing for female bass players. I'll tell you that right now.
Hey, I'm
Good, very
innocent.
good.
How'd you get started on it?
So I got started when I was I think I was about 17, and I just bought myself my first bass. And I was like a bedroom bassist probably for about 9 or 10 years, and then I joined a band. So I think I was about 29 when I first joined a band.
Wow.
Yeah, that's about it. So I had no lessons or anything, just self-taught.
So you hadn't played out or anything like that?
No.
Wow.
Wow.
That's
Really
great.
impressive.
Yeah.
So how does Steve Leisl kind of fit into this? He's kind of like, he kind of helps with recording and songwriting and producing. How'd you guys come to work with him? Great name, by the way.
Yeah. Steve's an old friend of mine. I used to, a long time ago, I used to manage his band called Burnt when he was like in his late teens, which is where I got to know him. And then over the years, he became a record producer. We had our band imploded for like the 500th time around when we were making the Born to Die VHS album, and I was stuck with an incomplete record, and it was all a mess. And I reconnected with Steve, and he was like, "Well, I'll give it a go." So he didn't join the band, but he finished off the record, all the lead parts and everything. And in COVID, he remixed the whole album, and so it was such a good experience that we were chatting. We're like, well, should we make a record together? I mean, Steve doesn't want to be in a band anymore. He hates traveling. He's got no interest in that. He just likes to write and record and stay at home, basically.
Right.
I kind of get that in a way. So yes, we've made an album. We're really proud of it, and it got to the point where we're like, well, should we do another one? And that's the product. The end result of that is this new record, Midnight Lust. So he's not, I say he's not in the band, but he's like our Bob Rock, I guess, you know.
Yeah.
Look at it that way.
I wanted to ask you about the artwork. The last couple of albums, just stunning artwork. Like who does your artwork and how did you
The
find them?
Witching Hour, this one.
I love it.
It's a guy called Scott Jackson from Monster Man Graphics. So we found, I can't remember where I found it now. I think it might be just on the internet, just Googling and things. And he did the last, I think it's the last 3 studio albums, Born to Die on VHS onwards. He's brilliant. So yeah, takes his time, but it's always worth it.
Yeah, I wondered if there was a story behind kind of that ghoul with the unconscious girl and the vampire fangs. I see all the comics behind you, Dan.
It's just, yeah, it's just another stupid brief for me, really. You know, I'm just like, yeah, I want like, I want a Medusa vampire character, and this time I want to be like the Reaper with the scythe, and I want this, and I want that, and I want a haunted house, and I want, you know.
I've never met anyone with
kind of like
such an amazing imagination as like Dan. Like he'll just be like, I want this and I want this, and it's like, how does your brain work? It's just so fascinating. It's amazing.
Doesn't really.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do these little promo shots using AR sometimes, and sometimes you can never tell if it's going to come up with something or not. And one time I had us in the morgue. It actually put like dead bodies behind us. I was impressed.
Oh yeah,
wow,
AI,
all right.
the AI image thing. Yeah.
But I don't think you're ever going to be able to do AI with the kind of drawing like that. That's really, it's the colors are eye-catching. It's really, really good. So the Witching Hour and the Plague Sessions were kind of recorded at the same time, but I really liked the Plague Sessions as far as, you know, you kind of doing older stuff and the covers that you guys did with Scream and Lady Evil and Chop Chop Chop. How did you kind of pick what covers you were going to do, and do you ever do them live?
We didn't pick them. You know, basically what happened is we did a crowdfunder for the Witching Hour album, and around that time the cost of postage like rose dramatically, and we've got a big chunk of our fan base are overseas, and the postage was like almost doubled overnight. So yeah, it's not very nice when you have to, you know, when the cost of postage is as much as the CD you're buying as well on top.
Yeah.
That's expensive. So there's like a sweetener. What we did is we re-recorded some tracks to give away for free digitally to everyone who'd pre-ordered the album, and that's what the Plague Sessions were. And one of the options on the crowdfunder was you could pay to choose a cover to do. And that's what those 3 are. We put those up, we tagged those onto the Plague Sessions, but they're what fans chose for us to do. I would have chosen Scream, definitely. I'd choose any Misfits song, but they're not ones I personally would have chosen myself. But we did it, and they turned out really well. So yeah, it's not quite the response I think you were expecting.
So I also love that cool kind of snake logo for the LVD. That makes such a great patch. I'm sure you guys do well with that too. Did you have that drawn for you, or did someone come up with that idea?
Yeah, a friend of mine came up with it. A friend of mine from university, a guy called Kevin. He's a movie director as well. He did our first couple of music videos, and he designed the first 2 album covers as well. And he did the logo. It's about 20 odd years ago he did the logo for us, and we love it, so we've just kept it.
So originally it sounded like when you needed a vocalist, you found her through MySpace with Lucifer. But so of course that's how long ago that was. How did you come to find the wonderful spunky JJ and kind of how that came together?
Do you want to answer that one, JJ?
Yeah, I'll give it a crack. So if my memory serves correct, I was in a band that I'd started in college called Mishaps, and we got poached to do a charity gig at this venue called Jolly's, a cabaret venue in Stoke, with a band called Lesbian Bed Death. And I'd sort of heard of Lesbian Bed Death at that point. I'd been on like a local radio show called Six Towns, and the guy David Tunstall there was just like obsessed with Lesbian Bed Death and was like, "Do you know who these guys are?" And I started going down the rabbit hole because they just released their Witching Hour album, and I was like, "Oh my god, these guys are like amazing!" And with a name like Lesbian Bed Death, like how can you just not like that, you know?
Right.
Um,
Right.
so when we were like, we've got a gig that we can do with them, I was like, yes, absolutely. So we did it on the 13th of May 2021, I want to say, or 2020. I don't remember what year it
One, I
was.
think. It'd been 21.
2021, yeah, it would have been
Yeah.
2021. Oh yeah, it would have been. Yeah, 13th of May 2021. We did a gig with Lesbian Bed Death in my old band, and that was it then. I got on really well with Dan. Me and Dan clicked and basically like added each other on social media and stuff. I was like, I just remember Leisl just being like, "Hi, hello," you know, and I just remembered how nice they were and stuff. And so when they were looking for a new singer, I got a message from Dan basically saying, "Would you be interested? You know, are you available? Would you at least like to come and try out?" Basically. And we were looking at the messages not too long ago, weren't we? Like the first message that you sent me on the, what was it, 20th of Feb?
I think so, yeah.
20th
Yeah,
of
it
Feb
was,
last
yeah.
year. And that night it was like, do you want to come and meet in a pub and basically talk about it? And it was so out of character of me at the time to just basically be like, yes, I'll come and meet you. But I did. We met at a local pub, and we spoke about it. I was absolutely interested. I was really excited. Couldn't believe that like you even remembered me from that gig. And that was it then. We just clicked. Like I just don't think I've ever like clicked so much with people in my entire life. And then it was like that weekend we went to Steve's to record. I think the first thing we recorded was the Mummy's Tomb, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then we went on to record Satanic Suicide Sex Cult. I met the rest of the band members again, who Leisl and Amy definitely did not remember me. Because every single year I've looked so different. Like I had like really like jet black hair and it was pretty long and stuff. So I don't think they remembered me at all. And I was like, I've met you before. And that was it then. Once we started recording and started working on some stuff, I clicked really well with Steve, and Leisl and Dan and Amy. That was it then. It all just kind of felt like it came together. And they, you know, I like to think that you guys liked me. So here I am, I guess.
You were the missing piece.
Yeah, you know, and I kind of went back and listened to some of your back catalogs because I hadn't, you know, because I started with this album, and I really think you guys have gotten harder. I really think all of you guys just click on this one. You can almost hear like the physical, you know.
Yeah.
It just seemed really apparent to me that this lineup is really strong.
Yeah, I just don't think like I've ever gotten on as well with a group of people as well as I get on with these guys, honestly. And it was so weird for me to have met you that night, just because it was so out of character for me. But it's changed my whole life. Like the past year has been crazy, and I wouldn't change a single thing about it. And I'm really looking forward to what we're doing in the future.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah, it definitely went from really good to great, like in a heartbeat. Really good.
At least it didn't get worse.
Right.
Yeah.
So who came up with Midnight Lust as the title? Is
That was me.
Yeah.
Originally, I was toying with the idea of calling the album Satanic Suicide Sex Cult, but I was told no because of Google algorithms and things like that, search results.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy kill your album straight away? So I thought Midnight Lust would be pretty cool.
Yeah,
Not
I remember
as good
you
as Satanic
saying,
Suicide Sex Cult, but you know.
yeah, imagine you said, imagine a kid going in, well, not like a kid, but like a 15, 16-year-old who's getting into like kind of rock music, going into HMV and asking for Satanic Suicide Sex Cult by Lesbian Bed Death. It's just,
yeah. That is a mouthful. It is.
Mhm.
Yeah. I would expect that song title makes me think of what's it, My Life with the Thrill Kill Cult or something like that. Like that's the vibe that I was almost expecting that, when I first put you guys on, but yeah, very cool. Yeah.
So we have a lot of favorite tracks from this album. So Maria just sucks you in right away. Did you go out and record a storm, or did you use some kind of stock audio?
It's stock audio, the storm, I'm afraid. I didn't actually go out and record a real storm.
I wouldn't advise it. Sounds like a good way to get electrocuted.
Yeah, basically.
Speaking of that, there's a video that came through my Instagram yesterday. I
Oh,
shared with
God.
you. It's Justin from the Darkness, and he's playing guitar plugged in a swimming pool on
In
a
a pool,
cruise. On a
I saw
cruise.
that.
You see that
Yeah.
one?
Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
did.
How is that possible? And
Yeah,
then you
it's just
realize
like
that his cat suit is like made of that waterproof material. So obviously he
Yeah.
planned it.
I thought he was shirtless though in the video, and I was like,
Yeah.
just
Right.
asking
He's
to
got
get
that.
weird. Yeah.
I love the Darkness, but I cannot get into his podcast. I don't know if you've ever
I've
listened to it.
met Justin Hawkins.
Oh, I'm so
I've hugged
jealous.
that man. I've had a hug from Justin Hawkins. Amazing.
Yeah, I loved him. I loved him from when that first album came out.
Yeah.
But his podcast is like him and that lady that does the YouTube videos for him, and he'll just be
Yeah.
like, I don't know what it is. It's just like he'll say
That's a tea.
I don't actually drink tea, and she'll go, how long ago did you stop drinking tea? And he'll go, well, I actually prefer sparkling water now, and they'll stay on that
Yeah.
for like 40 minutes. And I
That's why I
can't
like
handle it,
watching
man.
a lot of
I want to
clips.
like it so bad, but
Yeah. Just
they're
watch
still
the
talking
the
about tea.
highlights. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
talking about tea for an hour, and it's like,
Yeah.
course.
No, if he tells road stories from the Darkness, that's great. I love that. But
yeah.
if they go down a tangent, it just is like watching paint dry. I don't know. Anyway, enough about Justin Hawkins.
So was there any specific cult, because God knows there's enough of them now, that inspired suicidal sex cult? What's the weirdest cult you ever heard of?
The weirdest cult I don't know, I don't think we know the
Is
names.
it the Catholic Church?
Yeah.
That one's rather popular, actually. So,
Yeah. I think the idea for satanic suicide, it is a mouthful. Oh my gosh.
It is.
So a satanic suicide sex cult was like, we really wanted this cool goth club where like all the goths and like creatures of the night would go and party and just have a good time, and that was the image that we were like thinking of when we were like recording, and then when we went to shoot the video, like we were so adamant with what we wanted with it. It was just like satanic suicide sex cult just is its own thing. It's its own cult.
yeah.
Even though it's just one video, it's amazing.
I really like how Leisl's bass lines kind of really complement like where your melody line is. It's perfect.
Yeah, it turned out really well. Yeah.
I think the bass was just really nice to follow along with it. It's very I don't know what word to use. I've never heard bass lines that are so melodic before, I don't think. Like sometimes you listen to songs and the bass just kind of drones on, and it's like I used to play bass, and sometimes you're just there playing like an open E for like 5 minutes, and you're like, can you give me something else to do?
Right.
Whereas like Leisl's bass lines and stuff are just so they get into it. It's a proper groove. And I think that helps a lot when you're writing vocal melodies, to follow along with that, and everything just kind of like pulls together. And the bass is just such a great foundation for all of the songs. So couldn't do it without you, Leisl.
No, thanks.
Yeah, it's like everybody's been talking about that here too, because I'm sure you heard about here in Baltimore that a whole Key Bridge disaster, and then it rained for a week.
yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, guys, it was an accident. It wasn't an act of God. A boat hit it.
But I will say, the people, a lot of our friends that are in Scandinavia and Europe were very concerned about us. We got a lot of really nice. Hope you guys weren't affected by it. It was very nice,
We're kind of on the other side of town, so
But
I've
nice that
probably been
people,
years since I
that's that
went there.
people
Yeah.
actually gave a shit. It's nice. No,
I
we
think
weren't partying on the bridge in the middle of the night on a Monday. No.
we're asleep. We're asleep. But yeah, I think one of my favorite cults was this. It was they do it. If you haven't seen this documentary, it's nuts. It's called The Way Down, and was she in Texas?
Oh, this is the diet lady.
Yeah, she combines religion with like nutrition and diets. Like if you're hungry and you're
heard of
fat, you're
that.
supposed to kneel down in front of your refrigerator and pray,
Yeah.
that you don't have to eat.
And this
Yeah.
happened. This wasn't like in the 1700s. This happened like 5 years ago. So it's
Yeah.
like modern. That's
Yeah, I
that's
think
what
I've
blows
listened
my
to a
mind.
podcast about that. Like I listened to
Okay.
like a lot of true crime podcasts and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think I've heard of that.
Yeah.
It's like worshipping fridges, just
Yeah.
the only time
Like-
I worship a fridge or look like I'm probably part of a fridge cult is like, when you stand by the fridge at 2 a.m. shoveling like shredded cheese into your mouth, illuminated by nothing but the fridge light.
Guilty.
They're like,
Guilty.
yeah.
Guilty.
yeah, guilty. And it doesn't help because I'm like lactose intolerant too, so I shouldn't even be doing it,
Oh,
but
jeez.
it's worth it. It's worth.
Well, we call that we both before we go to bed, we usually drink some red wine, and then when we wake up, we call that you're a wine zombie because we'll wake up and then we'll go eat something like make a mess with shredded cheese or something like that, and then the next
Yeah.
day you don't remember it. So it's like there was a wine zombie last night,
You're like,
That
why
got
is there
into the
shredded
cheese.
all over the kitchen? Yeah.
or like I'll wake up and I'll be like, yes, I didn't snack last night. That's great, and I'll come down and I'll find the wrappers, and I'll be like, oh, Anyway,
Yeah, but you were actually shamed in that cult if you gain weight. You're like, if you gain too much weight, they threaten to kick you out. And it's like, okay.
yeah, their cafeteria wasn't a fun place to be, apparently.
I think some people have got way too much time on their hands, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
You know, I haven't got time to be in a cult. I've got to go. I've got to go to work. You know what I mean?
they're like 3 strips of bacon, Sophia, really?
Better do some Hail Mary.
Yeah. I've seen quite a few of these on Netflix, and no offense, but 99% of them are in America.
Yeah.
Get this.
Yeah, we'll watch anything pretty much.
That's what you get when you ask for religious freedom, right? You take it too far.
Yeah.
And we also in America, we like to pretend that we care about other cultures at the bar. Like, so we're Irish on St. Patrick's Day, all of us, so we can go out and get loaded.
Cinco de Mayo.
And Cinco de Mayo, we have no
there-
Latin
yeah.
blood in our body, but we are out at the bar. That's an American thing.
I'll
Just
celebrate
poser
St.
them.
Patrick's Day with you. I'll
Okay.
come around.
You get you some corned beef and cabbage. It'll be
Yeah.
great.
Yeah,
A little bit of green beer. That's a big thing too.
that's a big thing. Yeah.
I was in Hollywood last month, and we went to, for some reason I was in Target, and there's a giant section of just St. Patrick's Day crap, just like socks and just junk to do with St. Patrick. Tons of it. I've never
Yeah.
seen anything in my life like that.
Who's wearing
It's just
this
St.
stuff,
Patrick's
right?
Day.
Yeah.
I have
That
a
thing is
giant
over.
St. Patrick's hat somewhere, and I don't know where it is, but I have an excuse. Like my family's actually Irish, so like
Yeah.
but,
That makes
like,
it okay.
yeah. It's just all green, nothing but green, and I'm like, no, I'm wearing black. Leave me alone. Like.
So I so love your guys' videos. We put them up on the big screen one
I
night.
watched them over
night.
and over again. Yeah.
We were
yeah.
pretty sure you got a bulk discount on movie blood somewhere, but
Yeah, a lot of blood. Yeah.
how is filming She Loves Lilith? Was that in a bar or how did that all start?
Leisl, how do you think
Go on,
like
Leisl.
She Loves Lilith?
Well, it was in a bar, wasn't it?
It's like a pub thing.
Yeah, pub, as we call it. The Americans would call it.
I
a
like
bar.
how everyone in the pub was amused by death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It had this almost Monty Python vibe about it. That was what I took from it.
A
Yeah, it's very
gothy one.
Yeah.
It was very
That was-
retro in 80s. I think that's what we wanted from it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like retro 80s, just again with those same themes of like vampires and goths and stuff. Loved the makeup that FX woman did, Jackie. She's absolutely amazing at it. She did proper all the gothic makeup for everyone. It's just really fun to record. I was very hungover the day that we recorded it, and I was just like an absolute nightmare. There was Dan getting me a McCrispy from McDonald's, like, come on, have it, just like that'll sort you out kind of thing.
That's funny.
But it was really, really fun to record, I reckon. It was very,
Yeah.
very
I
cool.
was going for like sort of a Hammer House of Horror vibe, Obviously, it turned out a bit more Monty Python.
Monty Python, I thought. Yeah.
That was the kind of vibe, make it a bit messed up, a bit weird, a bit uncomfortable. And we shot it in we shot it square for the first time as well, just to give it that kind of retro sort of vibe. So it just looks a bit different to all the other videos.
I think it works so well with that song specifically, because even when we were in the recording studio and we were like choosing the notes and stuff for like the guitar and the vocals and stuff with Steve, it's like we chose really weird notes sometimes, like for all the harmonies, and we spent a lot of time on the harmonies for that song because we just wanted something to like hit different, and it gives it this really creepy, like dissonant kind of tone, but it works really well. And then the video, the way that it turned out in the end, works so well with just the way that it was musically arranged, and it's just really cool. I love that video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like the one also with the burning barrel
Oh,
and
the roadkill.
and the motorcycles. What was that one like to make? That one looked like it was fun too.
was cold.
That was the
Cold,
coldest night of the entire year last year, and I was wearing basically nothing, so it was very cold. I was freezing, you know, like Leisl and Amy, they were like trying to keep me warm and stuff like that, like, you know, like cuddle for warmth. I kept
You're
going,
like, can we get some more barrels on fire, please? Like 12.
light the whole place on fire just to keep me warm, you know. But it was amazing. Roadkill is my favorite one, I think, song off of the album, and the video that we made. I don't think I've ever felt so cool in my entire life. Like, you
Yeah, it
know,
turned out great.
How did
Yeah,
it feel
I love
being the vampire?
amazing, because I was like, at first I thought I was gonna get like eaten by a vampire, and I was like, you know, all my wildest dreams were about to come true. I thought some hot goth vampire was gonna come and bite me, but it turns out I was the goth vampire. It was really funny, like killing all the bikers and stuff like that. You meet them and they're all like really, really nice people, and I'm like, I'm so sorry I'm killing you. And
Were
then
they friends of yours, or like how did you? Who were the bikers? I mean,
yeah, they're all like friends of ours. Dan can talk a lot more about them. A lot of the connections we get are through Dan. So
Yeah, we did another video a couple of years ago where we had lots of zombies in it, and one of the guys who likes to do cosplay as a zombie is also a biker, and he's got lots of biker mates, obviously. And you know, you do one video, you meet a bunch of people, when you meet another bunch of people through them, and so on, and it just kind of snowballs over time until you kind of know everybody, really.
yeah,
that's cool.
For me, though, the best bit of that video was when we shot the bit inside the car, because we got to put the engine on and the heating on.
that was the best part of the entire night.
So if we look really comfortable in that scene, it's because yeah, it was nice.
Nothing like some heat. Yeah.
I was ready to throw myself in the barrel. Like, I was like, just to keep on. I was like, let me just climb in, please.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah.
So for the Crowne Hotel, has anyone actually been there?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dan's been. At least, have you ever been to the
No,
actual?
I've never been.
I don't think we want to go.
I feel intrigued too, though.
Yeah, we should have like a school day out kind of thing, like a school trip to Horrors of the Crowne Hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of reminded
The words school and Crowne Hotel shouldn't really ever be used in the same sense.
Right.
just to fill you in, the Crowne Hotel is a real hotel. And it's basically run down, awful place, and it's where our local council put a lot of homeless people, you know, drug addicts and all kinds of people get put into this hotel just sort of off the street. And there's so much crime that happens locally, and it all kind of centers around this Crowne Hotel. It's kind of it's become almost like a local legend, you know, in this place, because it's so awful. So when we were like trying to think about what to write a song about, you know, and I thought of The Shining and an evil hotel, and then I thought about this awful place in town, and the two just kind of got mashed together. So yeah, it is the kind of place where there's probably a dead body every week found, and it's vile, It's always in the press as well, the Crowne Hotel. There's always some kind of trouble there. So if you ever get bored, if anyone out there ever gets bored, go on TripAdvisor and have a look at the reviews for the Crowne Hotel, Longton, Stoke-on-Trent. We have like a theme park up. We have a theme park up the road called Alton Towers, and sometimes people will stay there because it's cheap, and then drive up to Alton Towers the next day. And they've always got reviews on TripAdvisor, and about like people screaming in the middle of the night, and people trying to get into their room, and all kinds of things. And the best one is a friend of mine stayed there and found a half-eaten kebab in the bedside drawer.
Okay.
It's just not very nice, basically.
Yeah. But that's a very English thing if you think about it. It's a very English tendency to take all the bad people and get rid of them. Let's send them all to Australia,
Yes, yeah,
Let's
it is.
put them all in a hotel.
It's
a very English. It doesn't work at all, but it's a very English idea. Just
ship
them off.
It's interesting you say that, because that's exactly what it is. I mean, our city, Stoke-on-Trent, is made of 6 small towns. So you get a lot of problems in one town. What you do is you ship them all off to another town. And then when that one becomes bad, you move them all to a different town, and it kind of
makes sense to somebody.
It's like musical chairs, and and at the moment they're all in the town Longton. And I have a few friends who have shops down there and things. They're coming in the morning and finding the shop windows have all been kicked in the night. There's needles around the back everywhere, and there's people being robbed in town and things, and it's a massive problem. But it all kind of centers around the delightful Crowne Hotel. So we've immortalized it in our song. I should send them a copy, really, see if they sue us or not.
I did like how you threw the lady in the bathtub. I'm like, that's The Shining.
Yeah.
Just a quick hotel story. It's kind of related. About 10 years ago, I was working this crazy job, and I was traveling all the time, and I was going to this. I booked it to go to this convention, and they just had like recommended lodging. The one that was only a mile away was booked up, so I just went with the next one. It was like 2 miles from the hotel, 2.1 miles something. So I just went ahead, put my credit card in, booked it, whatever. And then I had to make a series of trips. So I jump into the cab after I get to, it was in Long Beach, and I'm on the phone, I'm working. And the guy's like, we're here. I look up, it's the Queen Mary. I said, this is a fucking boat. That's what I said. That was the words that came out of my mouth. He goes, this is the address you gave me. So I had booked a room on this haunted, famous vessel, the Queen Mary.
I can't believe you've been there. Did you stay the night? It was such a
waste because it was just me, and all I did was work. So I mean, it wasn't like I had my family with me or anything.
No. Oh, I'm so jealous that you even.
I was like, it's like the SS I Love Lucy, except it's haunted. So that's what it felt like. So, but that's from that day. I was like, you know what? Maybe we should pay a little more attention when we're booking our reservations.
Imagine if they what room is it supposed to be that's most haunted there? It's like 213 or something like that. Like imagine if they gave you that room.
Yeah, I had some time. I walked all through there. It was really wild. Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, it reminded me about that business a few years back with the Cecil Hotel in LA.
Yeah.
And the weird, did you see the weird video of the Asian girl who checked in, and she's all this weird
all the weird stuff, and she goes missing and
in the elevator, and they
that
in the water tank naked, like later after everyone's complaining the water tasted horrible.
That is so creepy.
I feel like I could talk to you guys for hours about like all this like true crime and horror.
Yeah, we watch it all I
love it.
Like I like to put together like furniture and do stuff like, and she'll go to the store, and after like I have true crime on for like 3 hours, I'll start to get kind of paranoid. I'll start to be, what was that? Am I by myself here?
Yeah, you're like what's going on?
It starts to mess with you.
It does, yeah.
Have any of you guys had paranormal experiences in the Crowne Hotel or otherwise?
Not in the Crowne Hotel. I think only Dan's been to the Crowne Hotel. I think Dan doesn't believe that ghosts are real. Okay. He's like, no, he's like, that does not exist. That's not a thing. Leisl, what are your opinions on ghosts?
I do believe, but I've never had anything. So
I've had a couple of like very, very weird, like just sometimes I think things happen that you just can't explain. And I'm a woman of science. I love science, and I love trying to explain things. And I've sort of got my own theory on what ghosts and energy and stuff like is. But sometimes things just happen and it's just weird. I've started going on ghost hunts with Claire, which is Steve Lethal's wife. So I made really good friends with her, and she started taking me on all these like ghost hunts and stuff. And it's just awesome. I just find the paranormal so interesting. It's so fascinating. Because maybe this isn't just it. Maybe there is something. I just like to keep an open mind about it. So
yeah, it's the weirdest thing that ever happened to me is I was in this house. It's not too far from here with the Wilkes family, like the infamous John Wilkes Booth.
the
lived
Wilkes family, yeah.
And we were taking a tour of the house, and it's supposed to be horrendously haunted. Like for a while, it was a private home, but stuff was happening. Like, in the family was like, we're out. So now they made it a museum. We're walking through on the tour, and all of a sudden, it was a hot summer day. Clearly, it's an old house. So they don't have air conditioning. I felt really cold. And the tour guide picked up on it. She's like, were you cold right there? And then she's had some horrific story of somebody falling down the stairs. I'm like, oh, I don't want to feel this.
Oh God.
I had the idea for a TV show, and it would be based on based on the paranormal. But here it is. These two gay guys live together, and they're both interior designers, and they die because they don't know that they're spraying for exterminators. So they both die, and so they're stuck in that house, and the people that move in have horrible taste in interior design. So they're putting up like shaggy rugs on the walls, and they have terrible. So the way they haunt is to destroy their crappy interior design.
And like redesign their house. They wake up and
Right.
it's like, I don't, where did that coffee table come from? Like,
And like there's this, like they paint the front lobby kind of a loud yellow color, and the one ghost guy is like, I see Ricky Martin here. I'm okay with it.
I would watch that movie. I would watch that.
I'm gonna have to find a way to get a script together or something, but because I think that's a winner.
If you want actors, we'll come and act.
Okay.
Fly out to you. I'll come.
We're
and
not working. That's great. Yeah.
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 All right. So we play a game on the show. Sometimes it's only one person, but it's five random questions with Stace. That's me, but we'll make it 6 today. Okay. So you'll each pick 2 numbers that will correspond to questions I have in front of me from 1 to 100.
That's terrifying.
So you each pick 2 numbers.
Well, I'll go for 25 and 42.
42, and that's Leisl. Okay. All right. Number 25. Do you consider yourself to be an introvert or an extrovert?
Massively introverted, which would probably come as no surprise.
You played bass in your bedroom for 9 years. I mean,
Number 42. In a zombie apocalypse, what would you make from household items as your weapon of choice?
Ooh. I've got a bit of a rock collection, so I can make something with some rocks and then just bash the heads in. I guess. So, yeah.
There you go.
Better than the records in Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah.
All right, Dan, pick 2 numbers.
17 and 53.
Number 17. Are you good at trivia contests?
No. It depends.
We're not either.
It depends if it's like a niche thing or not. If it's just general knowledge, no, I'm pretty stupid, to be honest. I don't know a great deal of things. It's not much going on behind my eyes.
Unless they're going to ask Thin Lizzy trivia all night, then I would nail every question. But other than that, no, I'm not any good at it.
All right, number 55. Name a person you would love to see in audience at your show.
That's a good one.
Can be live or dead.
But they'd be alive. They'd be alive.
There's a number. Oh, right. Okay, there's a number of people I see dead.
We don't want any actual dead people to be. This is not important to this story, but anyway.
Let me think about that one. I think I'd like to see Glenn Danzig at one of our shows, like actually nodding away, not hating what he's hearing. That'd be good.
He might have already been there, but he's so short that you couldn't see him.
There's more chance of Father Christmas turning up, to be honest, and enjoying what we do.
That's a good choice.
Yeah.
All right, JJ, 2 numbers.
7 and 37.
All right. Number 7. What's the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning?
Roll over and go back to sleep.
So,
I wish I was kidding. I was late to work this morning.
No, that's us too. Yeah.
story of my life. Our first patient is at 7:45, and I'm usually rolling in at 7:40, going, "Oh, I'm here, I'm here."
Like
Yeah.
yeah.
Number 37. Do you have a favorite television show?
I don't really watch TV. I like either just don't have time for it. I'm just like never in the mood to watch it. I have been absolutely obsessing over that Has Been Hotel show that has like sort of recently like been popularized. I am addicted to all of the songs and the characters, and I just scream them over my shift at work. They're like calling customers losers and stuff like that, and I'm like, I'm just singing a song, it's fine. But yeah, I'm currently obsessed with that show. So if I had to pick a favorite right now, it would be Has Been Hotel.
That's awesome. All right. So, are there other local bands that you love to play with that we should check out?
We've played with a band called Era's End. They're really cool.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. Yeah.
Nova Crow, we've played countless shows with. They're really
Nova
good.
Crow, you would a
Yeah.
million% love Nova Crow.
Yeah. And Pulverize, another one that we've done a lot of gigs with. Yeah.
So I loved that was chronicled your Midnight Lust tour, which was chronicled in the Antichrist video. What were kind of your best and worst memories out of that tour?
I'd say lack of sleep was a bad memory.
Sleep when we're dead.
Yeah.
What was your favorite like memory from the whole of tour though, Leisl? Like what would you go back and like relive over again?
I just think going to all the various places that, well, obviously some places I've never been before, so I think that was really cool. And probably some places that I would have like never
Never go
gone
back to
in
again.
the first place. Never have gone to in the first place. So yeah.
Dan?
The worst bit is probably you getting ill, JJ, wasn't it?
Yeah, that kind of sucked.
Yeah, that wasn't great, was it?
How is that not my worst memory, but that's your worst memory?
That's a good point. Yeah.
I never forget. Best for me is just I don't know, I just enjoy playing. I just enjoy going to places that I don't go to very often, and I don't know, maybe I'm an egomaniac, but I really enjoy it when people like come up to us and say how much they like the new album, or they talk about the band and things, because I think when you put so much effort into being in a band, that it's always nice when you realize you're kind of not screaming in the dark. You know what I mean? When someone comes up to you and goes, "Oh, I've been listening to you guys for 10 years," and it's like, it's really nice. So I buzz off that. So every time we play a show and there's people who actually pay to actually come and see us, I really like it. It's not something I ever take for granted. I really enjoy that. And to go back to your previous question, another great band that we play a lot with is Gothzilla, who toured with us for the first half of that tour. That's a fantastic band worth checking out.
He let us stay at his house as well at the tour, yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah.
So if you could put your Lesbian Bed Death on tour, and you can pick any 2 bands that you would like, and no holds barred, money's no object, put you with 2 bands, you're going out on tour, you're going out on a United States tour, who would you pick?
I'm not down to this because he knows. You just know who you want.
Me? Okay. All right. Okay. I think this would actually be a genuinely great bill. That's never going to happen. Unfortunately, we'd be on first, but never mind. I think stylistically, obviously a massive arena tour with Ghost, then with someone like Creeper, and then with us on first would be really, really good. Obviously, I'd love to tour with the Misfits as well if they ever do more than the occasional arena show, and if they ever actually leave America and come to Europe, would be nice one day, maybe.
So what's up next for you guys, and is there any chance of getting you on this side of the pond?
Shall I answer this?
My
or
mother's
someone else wanna
making
have
an
a go?
appearance. Sorry, what was that?
Shall I
What's
do?
next for you
Sorry.
guys? And
I'm just very conscious. I'm one of these people that I either don't say anything at all, or you can't shut me up, and I'll just like dominate everything. So if you get fed up on my face and my voice, then shout and someone else can answer it. But basically, we really, 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 really want to travel outside of the UK. We've had problems this end since Brexit. And I don't care. I'll be political. I don't care. I absolutely despise Brexit. I think it's the stupidest thing ever. But now, what it means for us as a band is that we have to, we've got a lot more red tape to get through just to go over to the continent. Whereas prior to that, you just jump in a van, you get on a boat, you get off in France, you drive to Germany, drive to the Netherlands. It's not a problem. Now you even have to have customs with all your merch. You have to pay tax on your merch before you've sold it. So, if you buy too much, you're paying tax on stuff you're not even going to sell.
wow,
you have to have you have to be able to say where your guitars were made in case there's any kind of wood in the guitars that's not legal in certain, in the EU and things like that. There's all kinds of stupid things now, making it very difficult and above all very expensive to tour Europe if you're a British band. If you're a bigger band, it's not too bad, but we're still small fry. That's the problem. And in America, I mean, I went on holiday to America a few weeks ago. I was in Hollywood and Las Vegas and drove around Death Valley and everything. And I've got some friends out there, and I can get gigs. I can get gigs now. I know one of my friends is the sound guy at the Whiskey A Go Go. I can get it. We've got friends in Las Vegas, giving us some recommendations. I know we can get a show there. The thing is, also our old keyboard player lives in I think it's a place called Shreveport or something, Louisiana. Yeah. He moved out there about 10 years ago, and he was like, if you guys ever want to come over, I'll drive and my band can support and you can borrow our equipment. And so I've been getting the map out, working out how far all these places are away from each other, which is like insane. Is how much it costs to drive around. But there's other things like visas. There's there's so many other expenses and things that we have to look into. But I'm very, very keen to make it happen. And it's very difficult though. Everything's a gamble, isn't it? Because we sell a lot of CDs to various parts of America, but it's not like all our fan base is concentrated in one or two states. They're literally everywhere. Yeah. And will people travel? I don't know. It's
you'd have to make it like if we went to these places and we figured it all out and we were able to go, like, would these places be worth going to? Would enough people come and see us? Would we make up the money again to keep us going? It's like, whereas you can dream so much in a band, but when it comes down to the reality of it, like, a band is still a business at the end of the day, and you need things to keep that business afloat. You need to keep running and stuff like that. So you just have to.
I'm quietly confident we can do it.
Yeah.
I'm quietly confident we can do it, and I'm looking at a way to make it all happen. Hopefully for next year. I'm not sure when exactly. I don't want to give too much away, but I'm trying to make something happen. What would be better for us is if we could find a label to take us on board and perhaps set us up with a support slot with a bigger band, which would be the ideal way to do it, especially for a first time. But I'm very keen. I mean, I'm quite a lot older than everyone else in the band, and I'm at the point now where I've been dreaming of these things for a very, very long time, and it's like, I've got to just do it now. There's no more sitting about. We've got to just make it happen and come over and see what happens. And if no one turns up, we're just gonna have a really, really good time. So
we have fun regardless, don't we? Like, even
there's other things as well. Like, let's just say you have a change of government in a few months' time, which sadly might be the case, and you go through customs like, sorry, you guys were talking shit about the current president on Facebook ages ago. You're not coming into the country now, and that was a thing. That was a thing.
Funny. Yeah.
You know, if you put anything on social media about Donald Trump a few years ago, they were turning people away.
Yeah.
You know,
Horrible.
and not
Do
that
you
I'd ever
think they
do
won't let
anything.
you back into Portugal because you smuggled the pastel de nata through customs? Do you reckon that might be a thing? You know, I can't believe he did. So we've just come back from Portugal. We saw Decapitated in Lisbon, and on our way back, he smuggled a pastel de nata through customs, and I was like, like he's telling everyone about it. It's so funny.
I was hungry.
And
But it is the thing, though. We do when we come over to America, we have to fill in these not as a band, but like as a tourist. I think it's called an ESTA form or something like that. So it's to show that I don't have a criminal record and all these sorts of things. And still, from the Donald Trump days, there's still a section on there that asks for our social media addresses.
Wow.
Like on my personal Facebook, my personal Instagram, and things like that. These things were supposed to be taken away, but they're still there.
This is to get a visa. Is that
no, not for a visa. It's called an ESTA. It's just anyone who wants to go to the States for a holiday.
Wow.
That's
I didn't know
and
that.
it was one of these Donald Trump ego things, but they never took it away. It's still there. And that's the thing, because I don't even know when Trump was in power, you know, if you're a foreigner and you're writing like, you know, God, Donald Trump's a fucking prick on your social media, and they got it, they were literally sending people on the next flight back home, even just tourists.
I shared
It's
a meme
insane,
once
isn't it?
about Donald Trump's hair looking like that, like disheveled cornfield. Like, do you reckon they won't let me into the country because of that? Like, you know, his hair's cool.
But the thing is, though, you know, from our point of view, you know, if we've spent like thousands of pounds, like trying to transport the band to another country, and we've got all the, you know, all the money on the guitars in like flight cases and everything like that, and then someone in customs like starts flicking through Twitter or something, it's like, sorry guys.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think you're giving.
What if you had an opinion on something? I'm afraid you got to go home.
I think you're
that's
giving.
become a real thing now. It's a real thing.
I deal with customs all the time, and I think you're giving them way too much credit. I mean, they're not. You know, compared to some other governments, I mean, it's pretty slipshod. You know.
I still think we need to get you guys with some like older. I'm trying to think of who we might put you with, like some older established band, like when the Scorpions took out Thunder Mother here, and I think that would work.
Yeah.
The Scorpions were only doing their fifth final tour. Right?
Yeah, they've got
how many final tours are they going to do?
I think, if I remember correctly. There's loads of signs for Scorpions in Vegas. Yes, we'll do our residency next year, I think.
I remember when Motley Crue was going to do another reunion tour that nobody believed. Alice Cooper said, "Here's how we'll make sure it's genuine. On the last date, I'll decapitate all of them on stage with my guillotine." And I was like, "Awesome! That
please do." Yeah, I think
a
I'm
very
particularly
Alice
big one for
Cooper-y
Vince
thing to
Neil now.
say.
You've got a lot to get through, old Vince now. So, be like razor sharp and, you know, triple XL
Exactly.
guillotine. Sort him out. We've started another one. Is the last thing to take away. I've got my own little project. Is I'm shooting a movie, like an anthology, and we're gonna do like a soundtrack, like write a whole album's worth of songs for that. Like, you know, like when Fastway did the Trick or Treat film in the 80s.
That was great.
That
great
kind of thing.
Yeah,
that's that sort of thing, that sort of vibe. So we start filming on Saturday, and I'm a little bit nervous, to be honest with you. So if the film isn't terrible, if it's, you know, it's gonna be better than Danzig's Verotica. That's all I can say.
Well, the movie wasn't that good. It was just the soundtrack was really good for Trick or Treat. Remember, it was the movie itself was, you know.
I really enjoyed it up to about 2/3 into it, and then it just kind of tailed off for me. But I did like the idea of it and everything.
Yeah, it's sort of like like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory sucks until Gene Wilder comes out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
the worst movie ever until he comes out, and then it's great.
And then it's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. So that whole
Yeah.
first hour is a real slog in that movie.
Yeah. No, you're right. I love Gene Wilder's brilliant in that. That's the thing. We're gonna do this movie. The band's gonna be in it, cameos and stuff like that, and we're actually gonna be performing in it, kind of like bit like Armored Satan, like Hellraiser 3 in the background, sort of thing.
Cool.
And yeah, so we'll have hopefully another album's worth of material. So we got a lot on our plates, and we'll see if that opens any other doors for us, through horror cons and things like that.
Yeah.
But until then, we're just kind of, hoping something happens
Yeah, like
with our
floating
album.
through life, waiting for Creeper to be like, we want you guys to play with us. You guys are so cool.
I bet Glenn Danzig's at home. He's probably thinking, like, do you know what? I thought this band was great, and I was going to invite them to support the Misfits. I've just seen what that guy was saying about me. Is it done now? And he slagged off Erotica as well. He said that was terrible. So he's missed it now. It's done.
Well, that doesn't make Black Ass the Devil sound any better, Glenn. Sorry.
No.
Falling on deaf ears.
Okay, Deaf Ears 1 is Florence Black's new album, Bed of Nails. If you're one to jump to conclusions, you will be sure to make a lot of incorrect assumptions about this band. If based on the name you thought it was a female-fronted Jessica Rabbit-style cabaret jazz act, sound the first wrong buzzer. Okay. Florence Black is in fact 3 long-haired bearded men out of the Welsh Valley that have been putting out their unique blend of rock and roll since 2016. Bed of Nails is their second full length, and I can tell you after one listen, there is no sophomore slump going on here. On offer are 12 tracks in the 2 to 4 minute range that offer quite the buffet of rock flavors.
The first track, Start Again, starts with fuzzy, distorted guitar of Tristan Thomas spooling away with that dramatic 1-second pause before the echoey and yet full drums of Perry Davies jolt in, blending heavy metal with pop hooks, Slipknot style. If you were one of those conclusion jumpers, you might think, yeah, all new metal. Sound the second wrong buzzer. Other tracks have a bluesy, southern fried hard rock feel. One of the tracks in this category is Don't Hold Me Down, is a mid-paced, pop-informed, stadium-style rock that might easily be your favorite sports team rally song for the new season's kickoff campaign.
Thomas's vocals range from melodic with a slight rasp to a Lemmy-style growl at times. Bed of Nails is another track in this vein, a little slower groove burner, a la Pop Evil with infectious melodies and Thomas's guitar so sleazy it'll make you blush. Rock and Ring also features those dirty riffs, but starts off with an eerie picked guitar. Heavy metal stylings are not always center stage, but they're always fuzzing in at the edges and slowly taking over. The track Taxman is an upbeat, downright foot-stomping hand clapper with a drop-the-pick guitar solo. That's Stace. That's a Stace exclusive right there. Before a groovy bass breakdown of Jordan Evans whips up a froth with Davies on drums that gets you shaking your tail feather.
Oh, so jumper of conclusions, were you guessing this is all barn burner rockers? Sound the buzzer wrong once more. Warning Signs is a straight-up ballad with Davies offering softer pat-a-tat drums, strum guitar. Likewise, Beautiful Lover is a mid-paced crooner that makes me think of Pearl Jam's softer stuff. Thomas's vocals spill out smoother, but neither his voice nor the music ever fully loses that rock gruffness. I started to wish for the heavier stuff again at first, but there are more hooks here than on a fat lady's bra, in lyrics, melody, and rhythms quickly winning me over. The Ways Home picks up the pace again, featuring Evans' bluesy bass line that will have you nodding your head and dancing in your chair. Think they have run the full range of their rock stylings? Ding ding! If you haven't guessed it already, this sure isn't any one-trick pony. For the Forest, it sounds like Thomas has donned a 10-gallon hat and spins out a country rock-informed folksy style where even the drums sound like a horse trotting. But before you can put that straw of hay between your teeth, the heavy slowly creeps back in, complete with a tickle the scales guitar solo.
Bed of Nails is quite the cornucopia, with hard rock edge either in the spotlight or at the edges. I can foresee this band is going to have sold-out shows of head-banging, foot-tapping fans with all their high-octane rockers, mid-paced blues, and solid ballads. That's 100% not a jump to conclusion prediction. This song is called Start Again. Okay, Deaf Ears 2 is Jen and the Degenerates, anti-fun propaganda, and they're English. Yay. If you're one of these people convinced that the younger generation are desensitized introverts, simply staring at their phones all day, I highly recommend you visit the debut by Liverpudlian, love that word, 5-piece Jen and the Degenerates. This is not Mind Your Manners music pinging soft and genteel. If Veruca Salt from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory became lead singer for Mindless Self-Indulgence, it might sound something like this.
10 songs, relatively short and spunky. Bass player Jay Humphreys offering lots of oddly danceable, quirky rhythms decorated with skronk from guitarist Sean Sloan and Jake Jones. Of course, the secret sauce is frontwoman Genevieve Glenn Reeves, whose bombastic delivery balanced with venomous social commentary makes for a "did she really say what I think she said" sort of vibe, very much in the spirit of classic punk rock like Crass and the Sex Pistols. Jen does not go quietly into the night. Rather, she grabs the listener by the throat and delivers a society-skewering verse that isn't without dark humor. The up-tempo title track is a good place to start as any. Jen offering phrases like, "I like all of my bad habits," and becoming increasingly suspicious of monogamy.
And imperialism.
Before taking a delightful pot shot of Beyonce as the drummer, Evan Reeves, pounds smartly away in the background.
The funky post-cool goes after hipsters in a delightful way. Oh my God, it was supposed to be ironic. Don't you get it? And I smiled once when I was 7. And I love Spotted Dick. No, sorry, I made up that last one. Cool is dead. This is post-cool. But the crown jewel is the creeping song that we're going to play for you now. She shifts to a sort of stream of consciousness rap attacking social media. That's enough internet for today. Everyone go home, touch some grass, hug your kids, leave me the fuck alone. Then, just when we think it's all piss off, finger in the middle air, Spotted Dick sneer, closing track Jude's song changes gears to a pompy piano-laced love song in the style of Queen. This stuff tastes good and it's good for you, so you know what to do. That's enough internet for today.
Can you take a joke? Can't a joke requires wit and you don't have to smoke. That's enough internet for today. Everyone go home. Touch some grass, hug your kids, leave me the fuck alone.
Deaf Ears 3, Philip Sace, The Wolves Are Coming. Now, to me, blues rock went through a sort of identity crisis a few years back. As much as I love the classic records, stuff like John Mayer and Kenny Wayne Shepherd never really clicked for me. But in recent years, stuff like Welshly Arms, Royal Blood, English both, I think. And of course, Welshly Arms is what?
Canadian.
Canadian, okay. Anyway,
It's
still a good stuff by any standard. Welshly Arms, Royal Blood, and of course, The Return of the Black Crowes has really reignited my interest in this stuff. Now I can add former Jeff Healey guitarist Philip Sace to the fold of exciting new artists with a bold take on the blues.
The UK-born Canadian guitarist is anything but a newcomer, releasing his head-turning debut all the way back in 1996 and contributing his signature chops to everyone from Melissa Etheridge to the Butterheads.
Wait a minute. Wait. I have the Butterheads. This is a really good album. Yes, anyway. I didn't even know he was on it, but yeah.
Over the last few years, he's surrounded by bandmates that have done session stints with everyone from Elton John to Taylor Swift. His latest album is the excellently titled The Wolves Are Coming, 11 songs that are about as far as you can get from 12-bar blues binality.
It's important to emphasize what's not on this record. There's no 12-minute jams that go nowhere, no standards we've heard 1,000 times. Everything is fresh and laced with red-hot funk grooves and Stace's impressive vocals. Take a listen to something like Babylon is Burning. Stace's gorgeous tones simply vault from the speakers, fueled by the aggro percussion of drummer Michael Leisl. Backstabber drops a fat groove that wouldn't sound out of place on a Clutch record. Stace dropping lines like "Hellhounds on the trail," "Haters digging my grave," "Backstabber," before ripping in another shit-hot lead.
It's not all quick strike bombast either. He stretches out in the mellower 5+ minute Blackbirds Fly Alone, a track that finds Stace layering his hot leads to a bed of clean acoustic guitar for a cool rain song sort of vibe. But I couldn't resist playing this one for you. It's actually a song written by Richard Marx, but listen to the infusion of badass funk this trio lay down, and your ass will be shaking in no time. Welcome back, Philip Stace. This is Lady Love Divine.
Well, we talked a lot about Pringles.
We
and
did.
greeting cards.
A lot of potato chips that aren't potato chips.
It just kept coming. The jokes just kept coming. You never know.
There's so much interesting stuff. There's so much science behind a potato chip. Who knows?
Did we cover everything there is to cover about Pringles? I don't know, do I?
This has been the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast. Special thanks to the great folks from Lesbian Bed Death for appearing on the show. Snaggletooth theme courtesy of Jens Kemgren of the Firebombs. Deaf Ears theme by Tim Green of the Fucking Champs. Season 3 artwork courtesy of KC Angel. You can find him on Instagram at KC Angel Arts. Deaf Ears Band, please get over to Spotify and check out, as well as Lesbian Bed Death, Philip Stace, Florence Black, and Jen and the Degenerates. All content 2024. The Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast.
Stay tuned next week when Keith Richards says, "Fish and chips, governor!"
This is the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast.